Okay, this is day 2 of talking to a camera for 10 minutes with no script whatsoever, and it's just me and you yapping. Well, just me, because maybe you can yap too while I talk. But today I wanted to talk about this word that I recently found out about. I wanted to use my phone this year, the year of 2026, to focus more on learning and having my phone as a resource for information rather than doom scrolling and entertainment. And so I downloaded this app. I think it's literally called Vocabulary. Ugh. And it just sends me notifications throughout the day of random words that I think would be cool. And I can't remember if this was one of the words that they had sent me or I just came across it, but it's on my Pinterest, so maybe I just came across the word, and it's the word Sonder. And Sonder is the profound feeling of realizing that every other individual you see has a life as vivid and complex as your own, with their own ambitions, routines, and inner worlds, even though you may only be a passing detail in their story. That, oh my gosh, I don't think I have ever found a word that encapsulates a feeling as perfect as that word, because I don't know if you've seen some of my videos or have talked to me about things that I've struggled. I talk a lot about how I had dealt a lot with social anxiety and just people pleasing, and that was before I really prioritized my relationship with the Lord and put his opinions and fear of God above fear of man. And I was such an introvert, and there's a point to this. Okay, I was such an introvert and would always have these feelings of wow, we're all in this world together, but could never really go out of my way to learn about these stories and learn about these people. That is until I came to know Jesus fully, not fully, but really took my relationship with the Lord seriously and allowed him to transform my heart and see the ways that social anxiety was keeping me from knowing these people's stories and knowing the people in my life really, really well. And I have this this, what do you call it, this this board on Pinterest, and it's literally called wallpapers. And my favorite thing ever is architecture. Not favorite thing ever, sorry, that's a, what do you call it, that is an exaggeration, but I really love architecture, but specifically drawings like this that encapsulate drawings but then people's individual lives. I don't know if you can see it very well, but people's individual lives and them living it. And this one doesn't really do that, but that each window, every single window in this has a story to it, and even the people that built these buildings have a story to them. And for the longest time, my anxiety about talking to people kept me from finding out and learning about these stories. Oh my gosh. And not trying to give credit to the devil, because no, but that is one of the ways that he targets, is looking at what you truly care about and not letting you get to that point, if that makes sense. And for my example, people pleasing and overthinking man's opinion of me kept me from getting to know these people, kept me from initiating conversations and pressing in and asking about how their day was, what was hard about their day, because I was just scared to talk to people because I was scared of being judged. But that was how I built connections. And I had a realization today, because oh my goodness, I was out all day today. I had an 8 a.m. and then right after that I had like an hour break, and then I had class from 12:30 to 3:30, and then I had a little like an hour break, and then I had my discipleship Bible study group that I lead, and then right after that I had a like meeting, which okay, it was super fun. It was we called it an interfaith dinner, and so it was the international student ministry that I help out with and the Muslim Student Association like coming together and just having a meal together, and like it wasn't like we're trying to convert y'all. It's just like, oh, I want to hear about your perspective of God and religion and culture and things like that. And it was so interesting. But when I tell you, the entire day I was just so tired, like so tired. I literally was like studying for an exam or for a quiz that I have tomorrow, and I was just like clicking like this. But the moment I walked into the room and started having conversations with these people that I've never met before, my energy levels just like skyrocketed. And that was because like, and that, mind you, if you had told Danielle like even like 2 years ago that this would be me now, I would laugh at your face, because I was so scared to go and talk to people because I was worried that they would think I was weird for wanting to go and talk to them. But I've learned that like to know people and to like show genuine interest and curiosity in someone is one of the best ways like you can reflect God's love in your life to these people. And even if like, you know, this doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm gonna be talking to a Muslim person, like it could just be like a regular person on the daily, and there's just like this genuine interest and curiosity to know a person. And I was thinking about that today, and I was like, for the longest time I considered myself an introvert, but then today something clicked in my brain and I was like, I think I'm an extrovert. And for the longest time I convinced myself I was an introvert, and I didn't really like love spending time with people, which that's not even what an introvert is. An introvert is someone who like gets their energy from like alone time, which there are moments where I have those times and it's really important. But like I was just thinking about how that in itself, like God has transformed me and has like really changed the way that like I see people. And I went to a conference last year that really changed my perspective, because for the longest time I would talk to people, leave the conversation, I could have had like the best conversation with this person, but be so like in my head filled with lies that were saying like that person did not want to talk to you, that person probably had some other conversation that they wanted to engage with rather than you. And I was like, those were the lies that I was believing, mind you. And then something that the speaker had talked about during this conference was that like to have a good conversation with someone, you have to believe the best in that person. Like think the best of this person. And I was like, well, yeah, duh, you know. But I wasn't doing that. I was coming out of that conversation thinking like they did not want anything to do with me. And like how unfair and messed up that is, because this person probably had like nothing but good intentions to talk to me and want to get to know me, but I was over here like misreading and putting like bad intentions to like who they are and what they were trying to like do in our conversation. And so then since then I've realized that I have to go in thinking the best of this person, and this person wants to talk to me and wants to genuinely get to know me, because I am doing the same thing for this person. Anyways, all that to say is that I really love that word Sonder, and I just like encapsulates what I think about all the time, if that makes sense. Like I think about that all the time, how I'm walking across campus and there are just like millions and millions of stories like all around me. And like I may never get to know any of these stories, or I may be like a tiny little speck in these stories, but nonetheless there are stories happening. And how beautiful is that, though we like get to experience that together, not together, yet in some way somehow we're all united in that we're living out one story. And I was thinking about this too, about like friendships and relationships, how we are living out stories in our lives, not knowing that one day that this could be like a story that I tell a friend that I don't even know yet, or this is one day, God willing, that I will tell my husband, the person I'm gonna marry, one day. And it's just like so cool, so fascinating, and so intentional, and such a testament to how intentional the Lord is in making this life. He like could have made this life miserable and like horrible and like ugh, but he didn't. Like he makes good, and he makes stories out of the really hard, tough times. And yeah, I don't know. I'm yapping again a lot, but I just thought it was really cool. And I really, really love that word, Sonder. Like it just encapsulates so much of what I think about. And I don't think I've, like, I for the longest time would try to find a word that depicted exactly what I felt whenever I would look at those images, or like the drawings or pictures of like buildings and different people living in them, like this one. And I couldn't ever find it until I found that one, and it's just beautiful. I love it. And I like live my life wanting to know stories like that, and just the stories of people and what made them who they are, and like significant parts of their life and all that stuff. Now I'm just yapping. And anyways, that is day 2 of me talking. Hope you enjoyed this yap session, and if you can relate, let me know, because there's gotta be someone out there who like thinks about this stuff, right? Or else there wouldn't be a word for it, you know? If I was the only one that thought about it, there's no way. There's just absolutely no way. So let me know your thoughts below, and yeah, hope you have a good night.